Wow, the cabin is done. It's finished. Yeah, there was a mural right here. Or a painting, whatever you want to call it, of a lady on that whole door. This doesn't look that old. You know? There was stuff inside the cabin that said 1983. I barely remember it, but yeah, I do remember it was down in the ground. Yeah. Geez, it seems smaller than what I remember it. The stove used to be right there. There was an old jacket hanging right there, and it had these old Export A rolling papers in it. It looked like they were pretty darn old. Like I thought maybe from the 40s or something. I didn't know how old it was. And anyways, I ended up leaving it. I didn't take anything. But there was stuff, you can see the chains. I remember stuff hanging from there up on the top beams there. And everything kind of said 1983. Like it seemed like that was the last time anybody was in here. But it doesn't look really that old. Somebody lost a set of keys here, I'm thinking. Somebody left them for them. Yeah, so somebody came and stole the stove, or took the stove. Nobody knows whose cabin it was, so I don't know if it was just like somebody came and built a cabin to kind of squat or live out or just go hang out at, or if it was a trapper's cabin, you know? Cool little cabin though. Would have been at one time. Never seen one kind of, you know, with a little side to it. They're usually just one complete unit, you know. Pretty cool. Well, not much to see anymore, but what's this over here? More poles. Somebody definitely spent some time building it. But yeah, judging by those logs, it was probably built in the, you know, in the 90s, I'd say. Wait a second, no, that doesn't, it would have had to been the 80s, yeah, the early 80s. Geez, those logs just seem kind of almost too good a shape for, but like I said, everything inside said 1983 on it. There's calendars of the local Ford dealership here. There was newspaper clippings, and everything kind of ended right about 1983. The clothes in there was kind of old. So I guess the 80s is probably right around the time zone. Anyway, we're going to continue on. We're going to go up to a really nice viewpoint, and I'm going to have dinner up there. Supper and breakfast, because I am starved. We're not too far away. Side-by-side's running good now. Well, it still needs a bigger pilot jet. It's got just a bit of a stumble sometimes, not all the time, but it mostly just when it's a little bit cool there. And so yeah, it needs to go one size bigger, but other than that, it's running like a top. Yeah, look at this here. Something, looks like something was here as well. Like something, all the ground's kind of pushed up here, like as if he had another shed of some sort. I don't know. Maybe there was a historic cabin here before that. Who knows? There's all kinds of rumors. We thought maybe it was from the 40s or something, and somebody built it back then and escaped that POW camp and came here. But they liked that POW camp. They weren't really prisoners. They were just kind of like workers, you know. That's what everybody's. That's what all the history books say, that the people that actually stayed there enjoyed their time, and some of them even came back. So it wasn't like they were, you know, full-on prisoners of war hating it, like some were. Yeah, you can see they left all the trees around this cabin, just this one section, and the rest you can see through there that they logged it all, right? So everything just got blown right over. But it was nice of them, at least they didn't, you know, mow it right down or burn it or anything. It's cool to still go see it, you know. Okay, this camera's done, but we'll do it this way. So I was talking to this hiker yesterday, and she was telling me that one of the guys that's kind of like a local around here, he's been here I think something like 50 years or even longer, I'm not sure, but quite a long time, knows lots about the area, and I was going to ask him if he knew about it. But anyway, apparently he got that hantavirus from mouse crap, and you could see it when I was shining the camera in there, you know, you could see that. But yeah, apparently he just about died from it. It's pretty serious stuff when you get it, so I didn't want to go zooming around in that cabin too much. If you went into that, you'd definitely have to have a mask on. But yeah, anyway, well, I'm going to continue on. This trail just turns around right here. And that's it. Creepy cabin. It's a cool little destination, right? It's just something else to see. Of course, people can't pick up their cans, so I'll pack them out, you know. It's just, it's surprising how many people, like coming in here, the branches that, like nobody will just, you know, break a branch off even. They'll just drive by it 100 times, keep slapping themselves in the face, you know. I broke a bunch off there, but on the way in I was hitting them, and just, yeah, if you're out on the trail, just break a branch with your hand even, you know. Like you don't have to get the chainsaw out for every one of them. Just break it, you know. And then makes it easier for the next guy coming through, not getting slapped in the face or poked in the eyes and everything. And yeah, okay, well, let's go have some brekkie. Not a bad view at all. Sorry, my camera's all screwed up here, but my other phone is full. Yeah, what a beauty spot. Well, I'm gonna cook up some grub. Now, if you gotta cook over the fire, this is the way to do it. This thing was producing heat almost instantly, like in lots of it, because the heat has to just go, you know, straight up through this grate. And there's no sparks or nothing through this thing. Really, really nice. Got my little hash browns there. I'm gonna save some, because I might have some tonight yet. I might stay another day, we'll see. See the geese? Well, I've been doing my part. I've been stopping lots and seeing sticks on the ground and like stick stabbers, you know, throwing them out. That fella that got killed there a couple months ago in British Columbia, it kind of hit home, you know. Stick went through the floorboard, went through his groin, then his ab, and killed him. Well, it just happened to me. Not as big of a stick, but holy man, it scared the hell out of me. Broke right through the floor there. Just that little tiny stick. That's all it takes, guys. That's all it takes. Look at it. It's like 13 inches, 14 inches long max. And it just destroyed my floorboards. So, I mean, I knew I had to get plates, but that's why. It was just so short that it couldn't break in half or anything. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to start being even more careful. It was just a fluke that it did what it did there. But anyway, here's another one. I'll just throw it off the trail and be done with it. Okay, we're gonna continue on. We're still alive here, not hurting, because that would really suck to come through your body. A stick like that, it's not too, doesn't look too pleasant. Well, here's a trail that I noticed on the map. You can hardly see it. You can see hardly anybody's riding it. There was a ribbon there kind of, you know, showing people it was here, but it is a quad trail only. Like I squeezed through and knocked over this little tree. We'll see. Hopefully it gets better. Well, actually, I don't know. It'd be almost nice if it wasn't traveled, because then I can, you know, open another one up. But yeah, it goes down to this creek. It's totally legal to ride here. It's not out of bounds. So, I mean, I don't know why people just don't take these trails. Maybe there's an obstacle up front. I don't know. Farther down, we'll see. We're heading that way. Well, I went to move this log out of the way. That one there. I move it, and look what I find. A cap for an ITP 212 SS rim. And I just happened to be missing just one. So here we go. Look at that, folks. Now we got all four again, and that one's in nice shape. I don't think I was ever down this trail. If I was, it was many, many years ago, and I certainly don't remember it. I don't think I was. I'm pretty sure I'd remember this trail if I was here. But anyway, we got we got this thing, this cap back. Yeah, this trail is just not traveled at all. It's super, super tight. But the bush rat is getting her done. Okay, well, this is a good trail to have open, because it's gonna go right down to the creek and to the base of those mountains. So, you know, I mean, the hunters, the guys that want the area for themselves, maybe they won't like it, but whatever, I don't care. It's crown land, and the trail's here. It just needs a little bit of cleanup, And there's a wet spot here. Normally I throw these big ones off the trail, but I'm going to use them. They're going to be kind of like a little bridge here. They'll mash into this trail eventually, and it's not really a creek, it's just a little drainage right there. Just a little wet spot because it was all dammed up. So I drained the water and then I put these on top, so it'll be won't get stuck now. Should just be able to idle right across it there. And then I'm just gonna open up little sections. I'll go as far as I can because there's gonna be a lot of clearing to do. And I'm just gonna, go when I can go. And when it gets too tight like it was here, then I'll have to stop and cut. Okay. Well, I cleared a bunch of trail back there. It's not too bad, but hardly anybody's riding it. And this would have been the old logging road going back in, but I found the cut line back here, so I'm going to try taking the cut line. And I just came up here just to put a mark on my map. Then I know when I'm back home looking at studying the maps, right? So yeah, I'm going to go back, and there's a cut line right through there. We'll check it out. Well, I think it's safe to say nobody's ridden this quad trail in a while. Yeah, this is an old cut line. Not being used at all. But it's passable so far. It's tight, super tight for side-by-side. When it stopped getting used was probably right about when side-by-sides were, when the very first Rhino came out, back in the early 2000s. I'll bet you that was the last time this trail was regularly ridden. Well, this will be a trip to remember. No power. I gotta go under the hood and see what the heck. They did this when I first got this thing, hasn't done it since. I just unplugged some fuses and plugged it back in and it was good, so I'm hoping that's what's going on there. Okay, well that's what it was. Just something in here's a little loose. I'm gonna have to check it out. Hopefully it doesn't ever fail in a sketchy spot. I'm gonna have to pull it apart when I get home. I think it maybe was just the fuse. Just wasn't making a good enough connection there. I might just have to crimp the connections a little better there. But that's kind of why I like this thing. I mean, anything can happen. It can still fail. But I mean, if you can pack a coil, a spark plug, a voltage regulator, a spare CDI, and you could even change the stator right here on the trail. Like, it could be done for sure. So I mean, like, because the thing's pretty darn easy to work on. So like, you could, get yourself going again. Whereas like these new ones with fuel injection, I guess you could bring a spare injector and stuff. It just brings more electronics into it. I mean, they're usually pretty reliable, but as long as you know how to diagnose the electronics, I guess, on the newer stuff, then you can get out. Because I mean, obviously where I am here, it's not an ideal place to break down. Like, I'm a long ways away from anywhere. So it's nice when you can get out under your own power, right? So as time goes on, I'm going to collect more parts and stuff just so I can be self-sufficient like that. So anyway, in this case, we got power again. Well, that's all it takes, folks. Just a little bit of willows or alders or whatever the hell they call these things. And yeah, I just stagger them. So I put the butts at one end in one spot, and then I put the butts in the other, and I just keep doing that. And yeah, I didn't spin a wheel, just idled right across this. If I hadn't have fixed that, that would have turned into a big mud hole, guarantee you. Like, it would. Then you get a wall, and then it's a big ordeal. It's just so easy to fix it now. The creek can still drain, even if that thing was completely full. The way the trees are laid, it's not going to dam it up. It's just going to let the water flow through. But I could put a little more there, maybe next time. But whatever. It's like a little section is cleared here. But yeah, I'm getting turned around here. I got to go back because we just couldn't punch through. I got to that sketchy spot, and yeah, I didn't want to. It was too risky. Like, I'd roll it over backwards. That wouldn't have been fun. I could have just hooked the winch line on and kept going, but it's late in the day, and I don't even know if it gets to where I need to go. Plus, there's another way I can get in there, or I might be able to. So I'm gonna go check that out right now. Wow, this is the old haul road from when they logged back in here, and they left it. They didn't. They didn't reclaim it at all, which is odd. So I don't know why they did that. Maybe for plans of a future something like a coal mine or logging back here. I don't know. And it's all just pretty easy going, not like what I was into earlier on today. It gets into that same area, and I'm getting close. Like, the The creek is to my right. This is all legal to ride in here. So it'd be nice to be able to find, looks like there's some old trails. You can just barely see them on the maps. And I don't know if they're creeks and drainages or if they're actual trails. I'll know when I get there. But I'm gonna go and put a mark up. It's gonna be right below where I was earlier on in the day. And then I'll probably come back. And I mean, if worse comes to worse, and you know, I don't really want to camp in this right here. It's just pretty rugged, you know, wet, cold bush. All kinds of firewood though, that's for sure. So yeah, we're gonna continue on. I just gotta buck this log up here and we'll be good to go again. Little Mac. Stay put, you little Mac. Open sesame. Just like that, folks. So I ended up opening up this old haul road, and I went basically as far back as I could go, and then the road just ended, and it got pretty gnarly. It was pretty much walking only from that point on. But it was just beautiful country back in there, and these pictures make it look a lot lighter than what it actually was at the time. The sun had just gone down, or was just going down, and it gets dark pretty fast out there. So yeah, I ended up just turning around, and I thought about staying another night, but instead I just ended up I think I just took trails home, and I kind of took like a quick route home versus taking all these little goat paths. I could take all kinds of trails, but I ended up just kind of taking the ditches. There's a little trail down the ditch, and eventually made it home, and yeah, everything was good. Old Team China was ready for a new batch of repairs and modifications. That trip was in 2022, so that was a while ago. And I believe that was the trip that I had stashed my water jugs up in the hills. So I remember I came back and the jugs were there, so I filled those big blue jugs up, and then my other ones, so it wasn't a wasted trip. Okay, well, that was a bit of a long one there, 6 parts, but I hope you enjoyed it. And I think the next trip I'm gonna do here will be the trip I did just recently to Barbecue Point. That's where I went and put a barbecue up, and at the time, 2005, it was a fresh cut block. And so I went up there and I put this barbecue up, and we used to go there every night after work, or every couple nights. And the trail's all completely grown in now, and nobody even knows it exists. So anyways, I went up there, and well, I'll give you a little sneak peek here. I really have to get my skid plates. There's my cut line. This is where this little guy's gonna come in handy. This was always a bit of a disaster. Okay, what was that? Did you hear that? You see? Like nobody camps out here. I'm the only guy that I know of that camps out here. I remember one time we had a fire up in there and we were on the old snowmobiles. I was on the snow jet. There it is right there. That's the trail. Definitely not getting used, folks. Okay, well, I got the fire going. Well, I got the old tent just up in time. Well, it's 4:45 and I tapped out. It's pretty damn cold up here. It rained.